Hello, everyone. Welcome to Global Government News. Today is July 27th, 2010, and I am Darko, bringing you the latest in this news bulletin. This first article up is from MSNBC. I'm sure most of you are aware of this. If you're not, well, the insanity continues and the overall weirdness of the BP oil spill. Oil spewing from well near Louisiana marsh. Boom placed around 100-foot high plume. Tugboat hit well. I guess like a little tugboat hit a boom where there's oil stored. Now you can see it spewing out. There's recently been an oil spill in China, and there's also been natural gas explosions in other places as well. Just here in the Midwest, there's an explosion with natural gas, and so there seems to be a lot of this and an oil spill going on. So I'm not sure if this is all just coincidence or if this is just the way that life rolls in patterns and groups like this. But it says, adding insult to the Gulf's injury, an oil platform hit by a tugboat early Tuesday is now spewing oil and natural gas near a Louisiana marsh area. While there was no estimate of how much oil was gushing, officials said the mile-long slick it created was small compared with the Gulf spill. The oil and gas is shooting up 100 feet into the air, officials said, as a private contractor was called in to try to cap the well. While small in size, the spill weighed heavy on locals. We cannot catch a break, they said. And a Coast Guard Chief Petty Officer said a strip of oil 50 yards wide and a mile long was spotted on the water near the well, which was no longer in operation when it was hit. Some 6,000 feet of booms were placed around the site. Thad Allen, National Commander near the BP spill, told reporters the tugboat was pushing a barge. When the collision happened, he added, the well is inland The well is in inland waterways, on the border of Plaquemines and Jefferson parishes, about 65 miles south of New Orleans. So there you go. There's another picture of it. And like I said, I don't know what's going on with all this. I just believe that in the end, carbon tax is what it's all about. Environmental eco-terrorism, economic warfare, giving up your individual rights and your wealth, and feeling like a slave, and literally, according to CFR, declaring war on the human. And this is what it's all about. I don't know if this was done on purpose, but this is the direction that we're heading in. And so sometimes they need to propel us. They need to attack themselves or allow things, disasters to occur in order to bring about, quote, change. Because the masses are too feeble-minded to understand the complexity of the situations. And our global scientific elitist dictators who work behind the scenes with their philanthropy and their private think tanks and all their money, they just keep rolling forward with their agenda, and they're a lot smarter than us, right? They're genetically superior, so they do whatever they want it to do. So if they want to let a well blow up, then they'll do it. And it means nothing to them, especially with BP. Because like I said, they'll just change the name, and it'll still be owned by British royalty. This next article, as we move into the economy, is titled, As Credit Card Holders Play It Safe, Issuers Increase Non-Penalty Service Fees. It's from the Washington Post, and this is from July 22nd, 2010. It says, after the recession forced credit card companies to purge their rosters of the riskiest loans, the industry is facing a new problem: customers who are too good. Card issuers have long found their bread and butter in penalty fees and high interest rates paid by consumers who carry a balance. But that business model has been upended by the legions of consumers who were overwhelmed by debt when the recession hit, forcing the industry to write off billions of dollars in loans. In addition, new federal laws limit how much car companies can charge risky customers. It says now frugal-minded consumers are charging less on their credit cards, paying down on their balances, and steering clear of penalty fees, steps that are financially responsible but have the industry scrambling to find new ways to make money. said the only true deadbeat customer is someone who has a card and never uses it, said Curtis Arnold, who runs the credit comparison site cardratings.com. Just having good credit alone in today's market is not enough for a customer to be profitable. So, and a Pew Charitable Trust poll found that annual fees and service fees have increased over the past year, while penalty charges, which are subject to new federal regulations, remain largely unchanged. So you see, whatever Obama did, and Obama doesn't really do shit. I think he's a puppet. But whoever he works for, which are Wall Street and the bankers, they wanted to imply these regulations to give the American consumers and taxpayers a cozy feeling that the government's going to come in and help them and protect them from the banks. But that's unfortunately not the case. See, the banks run the country and they run our president and our government. So I doubt that they're going to be looking out for your interests in this case. So as we move forward and continue into this economic, not recovery, but a restructuring, where your standards of living go down, you work more for less, and you're all global citizens of this global government, the banks are failing at the fastest rate since 1992. Man, can't read today. It must be the chemtrails. Tuesday, July 27th, 2010. Banks continue to fail in large numbers across the country, marking the second consecutive year in which more than 100 financial institutions have shuttered their doors. After 140 banks collapsed in 2009, this year has witnessed 103 failures so far, putting it on pace to surpass last year's bleak total. The weak economy has left commercial, property, and development floundering, causing loan holders to fall behind on payments or default altogether. This in turn has wrecked the balance sheets of local and regional banks, such as the 7 that turned to the federal FDIC for help last week. Yeah, they got shut down. The 7 were Crescent Banks, Sterling Bank of Florida, Home Valley in Oregon, one in Nevada, South Carolina, basically everywhere. Said the last 2 years marked the worst period for bank failure since the savings and loan crisis when it came to an end in 92, when 181 institutions went under. The worst year on record since FDIC was created in 1933, just 20 years after the Federal Reserve was instituted. FDR took the role as president, and Social Security was created in order to pay off our bankruptcy after 20 years of defaulting to the Federal Reserve, and that's when we went into slavery. And then you had the false flag, a big Ponzi scheme, just like the housing bubble, with the whole savings and loan crisis. So it's all staged, it's all Ponzi schemes, and it's all about consolidation of wealth, buying out the competition, and yeah, it's corporatism. It's great. It's using government to squash competition and socialize all the losses. And yeah, pushing forward to this political article titled "Bailouts Could Cost U.S. $23 Trillion." And see, I think it's actually more than this, because after the bailout in January of 2009, Bloomberg put out an article saying it was $23 trillion so far. So it's probably double that. Who knows? But it says a series of bailouts, bank rescues, and other economic lifelines could end up costing the federal government, i.e. you, the taxpayer, the money that's stolen from you, from your wealth, from your paycheck, as much as $23 trillion. The U.S. government's watchdog effort, the effort says, a staggering amount that is nearly double the nation's entire economic output for a year. If the Fed ends up spending that amount, it could be more than the federal government has spent on any single effort in American history. It's a heist, guys. These guys got paid for stealing. Paid for stealing. They stole from you as consumers, or they committed fraud as consumers. They stole from you, right? They knowingly betted against something they knew was going to go bust, and then they got bailed out. It's not a bailout. They stole money through using the government, stealing it through tax dollars, money that doesn't exist from people who aren't even alive yet. I mean, you see how insane that is? For any logical person, that would just make your head spin. But that's the reality that we're living in. So please join me in the next video of this video series and News Bulletin. Thank you.